Assembled guests, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kiro, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Dr. Richard Davis.
Haere mai rā, nā manuhiri tū arani wai tapu ki te whakanui o koutou, tai tēnei rā. Haere mai, haere mai, haere mai rā.
Kuroria ki tātua I runga rawa, maunga arongo ki te whenua whakaaro pai ki te tangata. I te oroko tīmatanga o te kupu, ko tātua ano te kupu. Ka tuku atu ngā mahi katoa ki roto I ona ringa tapu. E ngā mana I ngā reo e ngā waka, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Please be seated. Kia ora tātou katoa. Nau mai hara mai ki te whare kawana o Tāmaki Makaurau. E te ahiahi nei, te ahiahi a tāhua kei waho. Distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Government House for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge Mr. Bobby Newsom, Kaumātua, and Dr. Hiria Hape Kuia. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties I perform on behalf of Her Majesty, the Queen of New Zealand. I'm delighted to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa New Zealand through your outstanding achievements and your service to our communities. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for your contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join with me in congratulating them. Mr. Ward Carmel will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the Queen's Service Order, Ms. Julie Reid of Auckland, for services to the state. Well, Julie Reid was the first woman appointed as Director and Chief Executive of the Serious Fraud Office, SFO. She led the SFO to be an influential and effective organisation and drove collaboration across justice sector agencies. She repositioned the SFO from a narrower focus on large-scale financial crime to a broader focus on corruption at all levels. Under her tenure, New Zealand maintained its top international anti-corruption rating on Transparency International's Anti-Corruption Perceptions Index. She has taken leadership roles with the OECD, facilitated APEC events and chaired an international anti-corruption and transparency experts working group. Under Ms. Reid's leadership, the SFO partnered with other agencies and NGOs to develop online anti-corruption training, guidance and tools and, during the COVID-19 pandemic, linked with overseas agencies to prevent corruption and scams. Ms. Julie Reid, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Mātahi Brightwell of Gisborne for services to Wakaama. Mātahi Brightwell founded New Zealand's first Wakaama club, the Māre Kura Canoe Club, in 1985 and served as the first president to the national body. He is a tōhunga tārai waka, master canoe builder. He completed the building of Hawaii Nui 1, a double-hulled canoe in Tahiti, sailing to Rarotonga and New Zealand under captaincy of Tahitian traditional navigator Francis Cowan to replicate the journey of Māori migration from East Polynesia to New Zealand. He travelled the country reintroducing wakaama to Māori communities. He assists the development of new clubs nationwide. Through his wakaama work in South Auckland, he was bestowed the Samoan High Chief title of Avauli. Mr. Brightwell designed and sculpted the likeness of his tipuna, the navigator Ngā Toroirangi, on the shores of Lake Taupo. Mr. Mātahi Brightwell, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mrs. Adrian Dalton of Pokeno, for services to conservation and youth. Well, Adrian Dalton co-established the Haingai Trust, which has supported around 800 New Zealanders from challenging backgrounds to upskill with career opportunities supporting nature. The Trust has 3 nursery hubs from North Waikato to South Auckland, each run by local iwi. Over 10 years, it has grown and sold more than 3.6 million native trees and supported weed and pest management. The Trust provides on-the-job training, advocates for its staff with agencies, and supports them to gain NZQA qualifications during work time. Mrs. Dalton has provided pastoral care to at-risk youth and regularly competes a 2-hour round trip to collect suspended high school students to gain work experience. Mrs. Adrian Dalton, please come forward. Mr. Greg Horton of Auckland for services to philanthropy and governance. Greg Horton has provided financial support to a range of organisations and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charitable causes. He was a committee member of the Leading the Way campaign, which raised $201 million for the University of Auckland. He is chair of the St Kentigern's Boys School Rozelle Foundation. He is an Emirates Team New Zealand board member. He is a former director of Fulton Hogan and continues to support Fulton Hogan and other entities as a business advisor. He is acting chief executive of Motor Neuron Disease New Zealand. Mr. Horton, who lives with motor neuron disease, personally raised $750,000 for the organisation in 2021. Mr. Greg Horton, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Bill Anderson of Hamilton for services to Māori education and the community. Bill Anderson, Tihi Ngā Rangi Maniapoto Ngāti Porou, was a lecturer of Māori and bilingual studies with Waikato University before becoming senior lecturer and head of the Māori bilingual department. As a member of the Kurutoi Tangata School of Education, he was a steward at the Kohinga Marama Marae. He has been principal and a teacher at several primary schools, regarded as a Māori bicultural ambassador. He has contributed to his community as kaumātua and kava. Mr. Anderson provides advocacy, narrative mediation and support for members of the New Zealand Education Institute and Post-Primary Teachers Association. Mr. Bill Anderson, please come forward. Mr. Ron Cook of Taumaranui for services to historical research. Ron Cook established and began publishing Roll Back the Years, a pictorial magazine regarding the history of Taumaranui and surrounding districts in 1980. He later developed a national version of the magazine New Zealand Memories, which captured the stories, reminiscences, factual accounts and images of all New Zealand regions and districts. Mr. Cook has written and published over 20 books recording King Country history on subjects ranging from school reunions to sawmilling, as well as many volumes on the region's general history. Mr. Cook was a member of the Taumaranui and District's Historical Society and a Ruape'u District Councillor. Mr. Ron Cook, please come forward. Mrs. Mihikore Uia of Auckland for services to Māori. Mihikore Uia advocated for a marae to be established in the Te Atatu region of Auckland, taking the Waitakere City Council to court after consultations failed countless times. Eventually, the mayor and councillors agreed to set aside land for marae purposes. Court proceedings have since halted the build of the marae, but she has used funding to host successful matariki events. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she has ensured elderly persons and others are cared for. Mrs. Te Huia has been a Māori Women's Welfare League member and was the first Māori woman on the Waitakere City Council. Mrs. Mihikore Te Huia, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders. In doing so, your contributions have reflected the sentiment of the whakatauki. Me mahi tahi tātou, mō te oranga o te katoa. We work together for the well-being of everyone. I urge recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the Queen of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you again for your service to our country. Kia ora, huhui tātou katoa. Now you will see on the back of your program the national anthem in Te Reo Māori and in English. I now invite you to stand with me and sing both.